Okay, so I suffered a desktop. Blue smoke got out of my desktop. So I am living on a laptop with a tiny screen.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit slow here.
No problem.
It's quite spectacular. It crashed last night, or it crashed this morning with the both screens going through a multi-technicolor, what do you call it, test pattern of some kind. Power cycled it, came back from lunch. It was all good all morning, came back from lunch, totally screwed again. And then it rebooted, and it never came back again. And I took it apart and vacuum cleaned it, and now it's really completely dead.
Okay, do you use Windows 10?
No, it's a Linux desktop. So, you know, I pulled the hard drive and I ordered another computer, and it will be here tomorrow, I hope. So, flip the hard drive, and it should be good. But anyway, so if you're not on the Etherpad, you want to join. A couple of you are joined. Let me post the link of the Etherpad. It's not. Please. I'm going to display it. I'm going to display it just a moment here too. So let me see. The chat is there. That's not the chat. That's the chat. If they post the link, it's 04. Not. Should be 08. But anyway. So Maurice said he would not make it. I'm under regrets. And I'm going to do a roll call just a moment. So just, okay, I want to share that screen. Application and that one. Share that one. Does that show up for you? I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Is that okay?
Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah. So who do we have here today? So we have Jérôme, Martin,
yeah, I am there.
Steve's not yet here. Anyone talk to Steve, the home, lately?
He was active because in the last hours. Dave is there.
So I am dialed. Sorry, who's here?
Is here. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I meant to say he's here. Yes. And I have my brain on backwards here.
Thank you.
Michael Niedermeyer. Sorry, are you the call-in user? Dave Rice, as in last time?
Yeah, that's me again. Sorry.
Keep talking for a moment.
Sure. I don't see the animation though when I talk. Do you?
I do. Yeah, it's okay. I do. Just to confirm. Okay. So yeah. So if you actually dial in when you do the dial in, if you dial in your participant code, then it actually connects you up and it merges the two things. Just something to know for next time. Okay. So anybody else? Did I miss anyone? No. That's it. So we're kind of we're low on people here. Missing Maritz and Steve Home. Okay. So, anybody got any objections? So note well, we've done this a couple times. I know you guys have all seen it. I'm going to put it up on the screen here for a moment. And that's really about it. Someone's thought that we should add a new note to the note well, which is we agree to be nice to each other, because apparently that's been a problem lately or in general. But anyway, I want to go, so logistics for the meeting. Oh, sorry. Draft minutes from last time, which was, actually the last time we took notes was in, did I get this right? This is not right. We had a September meeting, didn't we? Draft minutes from July 31st. This is the wrong notes here. So let me fix that. I never uploaded the, you know what? Let me start again here. Let me start again and get the right piece of data into this data tracker, into this Etherpad, okay? So I'm just going to go all the way up. Just bear with me 1 second here. And so the September meeting was date index. Okay, there we go. This is the September meeting. Yeah, that was the last time we took notes. The October meeting didn't happen, and the November meeting was canceled because it was middle of ITF, or I was in the middle of traveling, and I couldn't host it yet. Both times I was traveling, I couldn't host it. You were missing. Okay, so all I really want to do is tell me if there's some error, I've misstated something that was materially wrong in what we discussed. And if you don't have any objections, then just take them as written. Anyone near their email, are you able to look and see if someone has complained about being unable to get into the meeting or something like that? So any questions about the minutes? Can we continue on?
Oh, that's fine for me.
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay, so
Yeah,
hello,
so this is
Martin.
Tim Very.
Oh, Tim. Hey, Tim. Thanks for joining.
Yes, Tim. I wrote Tim, meeting was started, and Retro Kramer wrote he can't connect it.
Yeah, so I
Who
can't
said
actually
you can't
join.
connect? Yeah.
I can't join with my laptop, so I'm called in on the phone.
Okay, so Tim, we have the most important part is the Etherpad, and it's in the invitation and the agenda. So you don't, if you're not, there's nothing else you need to see if you can see the Etherpad.
Yep, I just thought you had asked me to run the meeting, and so I don't think I can actually do that from without a laptop. But yeah, I've got the Etherpad open, so that's no problem.
Okay, cool. Yeah, as I said, my desktop Blue Smoke got out this morning, and it's dead. 6 years and it's dead. So,
Rest in peace.
yeah. So I bought an Intel Next unit of computing system. I hope it'll live up to its reputation of being pretty kick-ass and pretty low power and quiet. Anyway, and Martin, so we had Martin already, and I thought there was someone else that joined. No, that was it. Okay, just Tim.
I think it's...
Good. Wonderful to have you. Okay. So I did the roll call. I put your name down. There's another logistic that I want to discuss. The March meeting is intended to be on March 26th at 2000, same time as before. That week is the IETF meeting week. So you guys, most of you are not intending to be there. What I'm going to ask the Secretariat to do, and we have kind of two choices for this, I'm going to ask the Secretariat to actually assign us a room at I believe it'll be close to 10 p.m. in Prague, if I'm right, because it's 2 hours ahead of UTC, or is it 3? I think that's right. So I'm going to suggest that we do this by Meet Echo. Meet Echo is in some ways a little bit easier to use, but is also definitely has a host room, and then people come. So you guys would all be remote from that. Do you think that's okay? It's a little more. I have to push the button and then you get to talk. So it's a little less kind of conducive for discussion, but we might get some people from the rest of the IETF come and join us, is my thought. Alternatively, we can just do it as we've done it so far, and people can do whatever they can come by WebEx if they like. I'm just wondering if there's any preferences or feelings about this.
I think go ahead.
I'd say I would personally prefer to use Meet Echo just because it's WebRTC based, which means
cool.
It'll be more likely to work. Also, it's currently just after 9 p.m. in Prague. So I assume that will still be the same.
Yeah, it's not. So I would have thought it was 2 hours ahead of UTC, right? So we're 2000. It's 2000 UTC right now. I'm not right. I'm mistaken. Yes, and
Prague is still Central European time.
Still Central European time, so it's only 1 hour ahead of UTC. But I thought there was also a standard time gives us. Okay, it's not daylight savings time. When does daylight savings time switch there in Europe, in Central Europe? Not till the following weekend.
I thought they were going to abolish it, actually.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. If they really are,
yeah,
but I can't imagine they can do it in 1 year. Wow, that would be awesome. I'd like to do that too. Okay, all right. So it may be at 2100, not 2200, which is great. And preference expressed for Meet Echo. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the Secretariat if we can have that room and set that up for that. Okay, so going on. That was one of working group status update. EBML is now in the IESG publication queue. Probably see that. We go to the right place here. Working group CELLAR. You can see that. So publication is requested on the EBML. Thanks to, I forgot his name now, who did the Shepherd write-up. And Vincent Villarreal. So if you see him, buy him a beer. And so essentially what we expect now to happen is that there will be probably some review from a few of the IESG members. We may get what's called a discuss which basically means they have an issue that they wish to raise with us. Many of them will abstain or no comment, and we may have to deal with any latent issues. We will get also a final IANA. Yes, this looks good. I don't expect any problems from that since we've spent some time talking to IANA to get our stuff right, and they were a little bit say challenged, but it was an interesting case of how to deal with the reserving WebM, the WebM doc name for an entity that may or may not ever claim it. So essentially what it amounts to is someone comes along and our expert reviewers and the IESG believe that they're the legitimate owner of the WebM spec, then it would get pointed at their document wherever that is. And if they never publish one or they never claim it, then it just sits there reserved forever. So no one should use it. Make sense? Any questions about this process?
No, from me not.
No, that's fine.
So we had some promise that there would be progress on FFV1 and Matroska issues in the last couple months. I don't know how we're doing on that. I know that Dave has fielded a bunch of questions about seem like really far afield things from the document point of view, but seem relatively relevant from a technical point of view. But I'm wondering where we're at on that for that. So I guess FFV1, let's start with that.
Yeah, I recently did some work, as you know, just to update it to version 3 of XML RC.
Yeah.
And I think the main advantage of that was to make some of the math easier to communicate, because we'd been using like ASCII art to depict the equations, and in the new RFC they get converted into images and instilled into the document. So I guess from feedback
did that work for you? So it looked nice and
it looked nice. I think I'd sent a draft to a link to an online representation of it at one point. We have to do some cleanup in the make file that actually takes all the resources and builds it, because now the process to build RFC has some more dependencies, because it has to convert LaTeX into PDF into images that can be instilled into the RFC document. But the procedure works. I just need to add some work to the make file so that it fails nicer if you don't have all the dependencies in place. But
so the 06
I've been installing on that
include...
until RFC version 4 was more in use at IETF, because it sounded like it wasn't in use there until later this year or the early part of next year. But once IETF's ready to receive a document like that, I can actually merge in the pull request and finish the work.
I would go ahead. You can still produce the TXT version, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reverts back to the ASCII art version for that instance.
So I would go ahead and I would say that the RFC the RFC editor and the data tracker people would probably love to have to work with you to make sure that whatever other oopses are fixed, because we clearly have a document that really does benefit from this. And I guess I'm looking at, you can see on my screen here, I see it's still all ASCII art in the PDF. So what you're saying is that gets replaced with images.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool, and I think that people will be really happy to see that actually happen, because our document really actually, does benefit greatly from it.
Yeah, that would be good news if it actually helped us get more reviews, because we have that support.
Okay, so So let's go to the issues here. We have 4 issues still open on FFV1, and I want to say this is V123. That's what I want to focus on, I think, for the moment. Is that reasonable? Not version 4.
this is still not version 4. The version 4 is still a work in progress for the future. So this is
Right.
version 023 for sure.
023, yes.
Yes. 0, 1, and 3, actually. I didn't have a time this trimester for doing some work on that, so there is still the issues are still there. Yeah, it didn't work as I expected. I still want to work on it, but it didn't happen this trimester.
So this is this not FFV1 version 1? Is that what we not call it?
This is,
Am I wrong?
this is FFV1 version 013, as you want.
But the document, I thought the document was posted as we called it FFV1. I see. So it's just FFV1, and then we have FFV1 version 4. That's okay. I got it now. I see. Okay, so are we pretty much blocked on the issues that you want to do? Or is there any way you could delegate them to other people, or just bring them up on the list?
I wish that some other people work on it, but I currently find nobody willing to work on it. So
are the issues that you think needing fixed, are they included in this list here? Or is there's two? There's only one issue here for V4 that's not V4.
The one, yeah, the mean car is the one I need to fix, and I would like to include the RGB color space. So I try to work on both issues. So this is a pull request. The other one is a pull request, and it was blocked because it doesn't work as expected. So this is the last one, 100. The 100.
Okay.
So I still want to work on that, but maybe I give up and I just fix the issues before the release if I have not enough time.
So work in progress. I would like to be sure there is an agreement about the path to use before adapting more things. Is this a good discussion we can have today in this group? Oh, Steve is here. Wonderful. Welcome, Steve.
Sorry, Jerome, which number issue on FFV1 are you talking about?
We're looking at pull request number 100.
Pull request 100, the color filter away. But if we need to, we go without this feature and we just fix the issue with min and k description. So I may give up and first fix the issue.
I mean, this is also an issue that's a new feature. It doesn't necessarily have to be done before finalizing the initial version of FFV1.
Yeah,
so I understood that
I may focus on the issue of the one remaining issue, and I will work the new feature on the new feature later. So in that case, maybe the best option.
So I'm trying to understand. This is something which is out there already in the field, but is not well documented, or this is.
No, the color filter array is a new feature I would like to have in V3, but looks like it is too much work for me, so I will just give up. It is not something which exists, so that's fine. If we don't put it.
So is it something that could be written? Is this something that could be written later on as an extension to V3?
Yes, it could be an extension. So I will put it in an extension.
I mean, but that's what he's suggesting. It be now a new feature that's not in use yet. So if we're just trying to document what's already currently in practice, this doesn't align with that. As far as I understand, the charter was supposed to define version 0, 1, and 3 as they exist in place currently, and then work together on version 4, which can include a lot of new things or change things. So I'd say that this doesn't necessarily have to hold up our finalization of version 0, 1, and 3, because it's a new feature at any rate.
Yeah, I totally would like to then take this out of the critical path for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
so I will focus on the critical path. Yeah. Go on.
The only thing I think would be really relevant to the version 013 document that we're trying to finalize is issue 111 about terminating the range coder, because that could be more clear. And so Michael and Jerome have some conversation about that in the thread, but it's not resolved. And it's a subject I don't really know well enough to comment upon.
Information about how to terminate the range coder.
Yeah, this one we need to finish it.
Someone like to walk us through the question here? There we go. Reason a dedicated state of 129 is used. So what are the options here? It looks like, is there some confusion between these 2 points? Do you do A or B? Or is it a question of it's just underspecified?
This is currently not specified, so this is not precise enough, and we need to add some details about that. So the way I suggested to do was rejected by Michael, so I will do it another way. So I think this one is important to put in the specification. So it is on the critical path. This is not a new feature, this is more description.
So this comment from Michael Nee, he says, originally we thought we didn't need anything. The implementation could figure it out. That was unreliable. And so the symbol 129 was added to explicitly end it.
Yeah.
So, but the 129 might not always be there, in which case, what, you wind up with a problem, you can't decode it, you have to skip the whole block or something?
Yeah, the issue is by reading currently the specification, it is not detailed enough, and someone who wants to implement it without any reference decoder will have some issues, I think. So I will add some text about how to finish a frame.
And are you going to just say, please include symbol 129, or are you going to provide a heuristic on how to determine the end of the list?
I will just provide some details in the range coder part about how to finish it at the end of the frame. That's all.
But it sounds like this is pretty critical to getting this document to the next step.
I think so, yes. I think it is used, yes, it is really critical, this one. So I will work on it very soon.
Okay, so it says you actually have what, some proposed text, I think.
Yes, it will be
true?
ready soon. Mm-hmm.
So you need to change it some more? There's some more
I
comments
need to
about
change it. From the discussion, the way I suggested is not accepted by everyone. So I will try to find another way to do it.
Okay. So let me know, Jerome, how I can help you facilitate that conversation. We have time now if you want to discuss it with the people that are here, and that's a good use of our time. If you have, even to the point of you want to,
for this meeting, I just suggest that if someone wants to help me about it, let's contact me directly and we discuss. I think I know how to. I already discussed with Michael Niedermeyer about how to do that. So he's currently waiting for me about a new input. But if someone else wants to do it, please contact me.
There's someone else that would be willing to help out right away?
No, I can't. I don't understand this stuff.
Okay. Anybody else? Jérôme, feel free to run your text by obviously the list, but if you want, I may not have a clue either, but if I don't understand what you're writing, then at least we'll know that part.
Yeah, I will do.
Okay. So, what I understand is that other than issues like this one, there aren't any other major issues with this version, and we could go to a working group last call as soon as this work is done, which it sounds to me could get done by mid-January easily. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Sounds like it requires about 3 hours of work, and then we can go into working group last call.
It should be not. Yeah, for next month it should be okay.
Okay. Okay, let's go on to Matroska. So there was some discussion. I'm not sure if that results in new issues about this. Obviously, where is Matroska? It's not in the FFmpeg repo. Where is it?
Matroska repo.
For me, where is it?
In the Matroska repo. It's the Matroska.
It is in the Matroska repo.
Yeah, I pasted the link in the WebEx chat too, if you want.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I knew that it was nearby. Thank you. Okay, so issues. I'm just going to put that in.
We have very many issues
Of course.
in all sorts of
Stupid
documents.
me, I have the link. I have the link right in front of us in the thing. Yeah, lots of issues here. Okay, so I think we went through some of these before, right? Someone walk us through what we want to do, or would you can even share your screen if that works for you. Or tell me how to filter it. Maybe just start with clarifications.
What is now?
So how are we going to get through this list? A whole bunch of nice, interesting things. And I just want to know, do these, some of these are marked approved. Because this one we could potentially close. WebM doesn't use all our elements, but sometimes they are implied, even though they don't define it. So I don't understand why this is in the Matroska side of things. Someone explain that to me.
I think it's just an effort to keep some backwards compatibility between the two formats. So if a WebM file was remuxed into Matroska, it would have the same semantic meaning.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's a question of someone's going to do a convert. We want to retain some of the semantics. So we really want to have some Matroska elements that describe WebM semantic things. We need to actually describe those things in our document, I guess, as well.
Yeah, if you look at the change, it's just kind of clarifying one sentence to the EBML schema.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand: is this a welcome change? Would someone hit merge on this if it's already changes approved?
Somebody did approve it. I had a clarifying comment in there about some of the language.
Yes.
So Yeah, I mean, I think next step I should go in here and actually propose better language to Steve, who drafted this initially.
Okay.
But if you look at file changed, you'll see my initial comment. It's just I think I'll just work with Steve to get one more revision here to clarify the language.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm not sure I can, but I think I want to try to assign it to you, but I'm not sure if I can do that. Reviewers, assignees, I don't have permission to do that. Maybe someone will give that to me, but okay. So what other issues?
I just
have a bunch of issues here. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. So something else jump out at somebody that we could address today. It sounds to me like, I don't know who Rob UX4 is, Steve Lahome. There we go. So it sounds like we could use a kind of a session of just walking through some of these tickets together as a group of authors, that is, and maybe we can get some of them closed that way. Does that make sense? Or just prefer to do it asynchronously on GitHub?
I would kind of prefer doing it asynchronously on GitHub, because I know for a lot of these issues we don't necessarily have all the right people here. Like I'd especially like
right.
Stephen Moritz's opinion on some of these. So I'm not sure if it's too worthwhile to go through them one by one, because I think for the most part we understand what the next steps are for each issue. It's just we need to actually make the time to do them.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep track of these issues. There's 29 that are marked as open. So I'm just going to basically write down the numbers afterwards, and I'm going to come back next time. I'm going to ask you guys if there's progress on them, or if we're missing still somebody, we need to dig somebody up. They haven't come back to GitHub or something like that. So I'll probably do that like in the week before the meeting. I'll start bugging people who haven't, if the issue hasn't been updated and there's clearly a question to somebody, I'm going to go bug that person and say, can you get on GitHub, and we can make some progress for the next meeting. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. Also, keep in mind that the Matroska document's been split into several independent documents, like for metadata, codex specifications, the foundational one. So it might make sense to consider how that should look in a revision to the charter or the timeline, so that we can prioritize which of those documents to work on. Because right now we're just kind of dealing with the format as a whole, and maybe that's fine.
So I don't know where I don't know where these other documents are. Where are you now?
You can see them.
Where are they now?
In the working group document tracker, there's Matroska, tags, and codec. There's 3 documents.
Okay, so those are the 3 documents. Matroska. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I know there. So it doesn't have the word Matroska in it, which is maybe confusing for some people. We're allowed to rename the documents. If that would be useful, we could do that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not in the document identifier, but there's a title associated with each one. It's Matroska tags, Matroska codec.
So now that I have it and I see it, you're absolutely right there. It's totally there. Okay, so those are our 3 documents, and you're saying with the issue tracker tracks for all of them at this point?
Yeah, that's true. They're all kind of put together, and the documents all reference each other too. So I think it still makes sense to keep them in a single repository. Steve's been doing good work at using tags to identify issues and pull requests as associated with one document or the other.
So we don't really have 29 issues open. We have 3 documents with 10 issues each. Mm-hmm. Potentially, right? With 3 documents with 10 issues each is what I'm saying, rather than 29 issues on one document. Yep.
And then still our main Matroska document, currently it's 165 pages in the last revision. It might make sense to break this up a little further, because I think already 165 pages is pretty massive for a RFC document.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so Steve says, yes, add a new tag to each document. Some issues not assigned because potentially in other future documents. Okay, interesting. What would these future documents be? Is this other pieces that we're going to break out of Matroska? Is that what you're saying, Steve? He's typing in the chat. I'm going to see why Steve doesn't say he's muted, so it's something at his end. His mic's not working.
I think Steve was what he was trying to get at was that some codec mappings are especially complex, and they might benefit from having a separate document rather than being in the codec mapping document, which is fairly concise. So, like, for instance, he did a lot of work to define the AV1 mapping, which ends up being a fairly complex document in itself.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just listening for any other opinions here. And where's the chat? Mostly codec mappings.
I have posted the issue 269. This issue can be closed. That was only a request of a user to use an official tag. But
okay.
I think this is clarified, this issue. Or what do you think, Dave? Need this?
So can somebody close 243 then? Oh, sorry, 269.
Yeah, Steve, genau. Okay, close it. Thanks.
Okay, and 26043, which may not go in any document at all, YouTube cards. So these are things for essentially feature enhancements in some sense, something that would come later, is what I understand. So I totally suggest this is a totally new document, so YouTube cut ones. And what I would suggest is it's fine to leave them as issues. Let's put it as a specific tag, new document. Okay, like, yeah, so new, said format edition. Yeah, that's probably what it means, right? But I wouldn't mind if it said new document or other document. So it maybe format edition is vague because it suggests it needs to go in the base document, and I think that's the point. It doesn't need to go in the base document. Our base document is good, right? We should have lots of extensions that are possible, and not everyone supports them. And I think that's the good part. Anything else someone wants to discuss from the list while we're all here? Not quite all here?
Well, I think going back to Dave's question, since we've split this up into two different documents now, we still only have one milestone. And I guess his question was, should we then also split that up into different milestones that we deliver at different dates? And, you know, we can have multiple documents fulfill a single milestone, but maybe it makes sense just from a schedule point of view to allow us to prioritize them differently.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what the next question I was going to ask was, of the three documents that we have, if they all reference each other, then they effectively all need to get done at the same time. And that's fine. They just fulfill the Matroska milestone. But additional documents we definitely would want to have new milestones for. If it turns out these documents don't all reference each other completely, then, or it makes sense to process one to completion, then let's add a new milestone. I totally agree with that. Let's do that. I'm just not sure how to split that up at this point. So technically, Matroska doesn't reference codecs or tags. Okay. So I will create a new milestone for tags and a new milestone for codec. I will put them after Matroska, and we will try to focus on Matroska, and we may remove, if we find sections of 20 pages that we can remove from Matroska and create into a new document, that's wonderful, right? We should do that.
I assume that comment was from Steve. Just a reminder, I can't actually see what he's typing.
Yeah, sorry, that's right. So technically, he wrote, technically the main one doesn't reference other docs. Tags and codecs do depend on the main spec he wrote, and the chapter may be moved out as well. So we may have a new document called chapters, what I understand.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to try an experiment, which is I just set up an appear-in, which is a pure WebRTC connection, and I want to just see if people can connect before we part. Because there's several people that can't hear each other and stuff like this, and maybe it's just the wrong technology for this group of people.
I think the limitation with appear.in is that it only supports up to 4 people.
Ah, but I have the pro version.
Oh,
and I can support 12 people. Yes, there's also now, apparently, I've just learned there's a business version which may even support more. So I just paste the link at the bottom of the Etherpad, and I'll put it in the WebEx chat. And I'm going to, I'm already connected. My system seems happy to let me connect to both. And if you want to just drop out of the WebEx and try connecting, we might just use this next time if it's much more successful. The downside is it has no dial-in. If you can't, I'm actually dialed in. I couldn't get audio to work through WebEx today on my laptop. So I'm actually connected via Google G-Talk phone out. We got Tim connected. Oh, I can see him now on his phone.
And then you just break the
I'm going to hang up from this, okay? And if we don't hear from you again, then I'll type something somewhere in the Etherpad to say we're done.
I'll take a fork to eat it.
Can someone hear me?